Hi y'all, it's me, Chatifer. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited. This is the third episode of season 1 that we are covering. I feel like we're just like zooming by, The days are going so fast, Maybe you're watching all my videos in 2 times speed. Everything is super fast. Everything is just going by. It's zooming by. We're making so much progress. They're making so much progress. I'm so proud of them, kind of. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. If for some reason this is your first time seeing my face, you should probably go to my channel and watch the first and second episodes of this series because I can't tell you what to do. Do whatever you want. So we aren't doing any recap for the first 2 episodes. We're literally just going to jump right in, right? I'm assuming everybody's with me. This episode starts with Hira, Kyoi, and the whole gang of usual suspects, Shirota, Miki, Shima, Momo, Karata, the gang, all at Hira's house, the Kyoi designated summer hangout spot, while everybody here is doing arts and crafts to support Kyoi at his showcase. You know, the one he didn't sign himself up for? The competition that he's not at all taking seriously? You know, that one? That's the one they're doing. They're doing arts and crafts. They're making like little banners and things for him. Love that. Friends support friends, or maybe they just wanted something to do over the summer, because they seem fake as fuck. No offense. Full offense. They seem fake. For some reason, Karata and Hira do like a little t-shirt exchange situation, which catches Shirota's eye, unfortunately. And he starts to tease them and says that Hira and Karata should date because they're such a good match, making the rest of the group laugh. But clearly I missed the joke. Like, visually, they don't even look good together. If we're being for real, my bad. Sorry. Visually, they don't even. And also, why are you putting that on my girl Karata? How do you know that's what she wants? How do you know that's what type of man she wants, Shirota? Sensing a little bit of something there, Kyoi puts a stop to this interaction, asking the group if it was really that funny. You're laughing? You laughing? Everyone immediately stops laughing and goes quiet, right? And Hira notices a peculiar look in Karata's eyes. You know, a little twinkle. This girl's got a crush. She looking at him, and Hira knows that look because that's how he be looking at Kyoi. It's a crush, babe. Welcome to the club, girl. So then we jump to the competition, and Karata especially is quite literally boo-hoo crying because Kyoi did not win. And in fact, didn't even place. Our boy didn't place, guys. Who would have thought? But whatever, he doesn't care, so it doesn't matter, right? Kyoi comes off stage to the hallway to meet everybody, and they tell him he did a good job, but was certainly not the best. They let him know they definitely thought people were way more talented than he was, which is fucking crazy to say, and that's exactly how you know these hoes are fake. I would never do that to my friend. So everyone makes plans to meet at the usual restaurant, and Kyoi excuses himself from the group and says that he will meet them there. Hira is obviously curious to know where Kyoi is going, so he follows him, and he finds Kyoi in his, like, little Michael Jackson outfit. I don't know if that's what he was going for, but that's what it reminds me of. So every time I see this scene, all I can think of is, like, Michael Jackson. He finds Kyoi in his little Michael Jackson outfit looking very sad in the hallway. Hira says that he had never seen Kyoi look so upset before and feels like he shouldn't have seen that expression or emotion from him. That's not an expression that he would think to see on somebody that he has this extremely high view of, that he has placed upon this crazy high pedestal. Like, Kyoi shouldn't have emotions like that. And I especially should not have bear witness to those emotions. So then we flash to this kind of awkward, after gathering that they had pre-planned where everybody is cracking jokes and they're all laughing at Kyoi's expense while Kyoi pretends not to care, literally like that meme. But he cares deeply. He's hurt. I know he's hurt. We saw him hurt. Damn. The only one who actually knows how much he cares is Hira. And Hira is sitting, he's sitting with Karata at the separate table, boiling with rage. He's outraged. He's outraged by the treatment that Kyoi is getting from the group of losers, not Karata, obviously. And he has this, dream sequence type deal where he imagines himself lighting the whole room up, like getting some type of semi-automatic weapon and lighting the room up, like normal people do. He is sparing only Karata noticeably. Why? Because she feels the same way about Kyoi that he does. So Karata gets spared, and everybody else, you finished. You're done. When we cut back to real life, Kyoi excuses himself from the table, citing a phone call, knowing damn well ain't nobody hitting that boy's line. Not a single soul needs to be calling him right now. Hira sees Kyoi leave the restaurant and follows after him. He locates Kyoi at some type of taxi stand place, and Kyoi is on his phone, listening to sad music montage or like watching slime videos or motivational speeches, or Kira is like 100 feet away from him, just like sitting here contemplating whether he should say something, whether he shouldn't say something. And he's kind of just creeping close, creeping a little bit closer, still trying to decide whether he wants to say something to him or not, or approach him or not. And he finally gets close enough for Kyo to notice, and he pulls out his headphones and he turns around and he calls Hira a stalker very loud, which he's not wrong. But also, I would argue Kyo for sure knew that Hira had followed him before he got super close, because he's always following him. So why wouldn't you follow me right now? But Kyo calls Hira a stalker and then like immediately launches into this lore about himself and why he wants to be in the entertainment industry. And at the end of Kyo's tale, Hira nervously tells him that he thinks he's special just the way he is, which is like super sweet of Hira. But Kyo definitely misunderstood that. And he thinks that Hira is just pitying him. Kyo gets very upset and he stands up from the bench, getting ready to leave. Hira is horrified because he sees he has offended his god, his king, and he grabs Kyo's shirt to prevent him from leaving. And right then and there, right here, during a high stress, very much the wrong time, wrong place, wrong time, Hira confesses his feelings to Kyo without stuttering, in a clear voice. He looks him in the eye and he tells Kyo that there's nobody like him and that Kyo is special and that Hira loves him. Momentary decision to express his feelings to Kyo. Again, extremely wrong time. Kyo looks at him very upset and calls him creepy and annoying and tries to shake Hira off. Hira continuously apologizes and says that he would die for him. Kyo then immediately turns around and says that he hates Hira. And then he runs off calling him creepy and gross. Hira falls onto the ground like a magical girl and starts crying because that was really humiliating. Also crazy to hear your crush say that they hate you and that they think you're annoying. Before we move on, this right here is Hira's first real confession. That was actually him telling Kyo how he feels. Kyo obviously not in a mindset to accept a genuine confession, which is not at all what he was thinking that was, because he was again already in a sour mood from everybody else, and that just really irritated him. Also, last episode and the episode before that, Hira was like, I don't think I'm ever going to tell him. I'm never going to tell him how I feel. And guess what? He did it. You did it, son, only to be completely crushed by having a horrible rejection from said object of affection. Literally must be completely devastated to have the first time he would ever do that, to pour his heart out and to get so harshly rejected. I couldn't imagine what that feels like. I love my son. I feel so bad for him in this scene. It's a little silly, but I feel really bad for him because he did try, but it, again, wrong place, wrong time, wrong everything was wrong. So now we're back at school and everyone in class is talking about how Kyo essentially being trash talked and bullied online about his performance on the show, and everyone is in his business. Everybody and their mama is talking about Kyo, and everybody's looking up online apparently on this magical forum that is just like people are insulting him and bullying him online. Everyone in class is giving Kyo the cold shoulder as opposed to before. Everybody was all up on his fake. That's what I'm talking about. Y'all are fake. Hira makes a mental comment that it doesn't take much to change the hierarchy of a class. Yeah, because they're literal teenagers. It doesn't take much for anything, honestly. Hira's running his errands and he's grabbing food for the group, and he runs back to the classroom where Shirota's tweaking, genuinely having a meltdown because Momo was seeing somebody else, but like he knew that she wasn't ever actually interested in him. So why are you, she was trying to get proximity and we all knew that. He knew that. So how are you shocked and confused that she's seeing somebody else? Anyway, he starts taking out his frustration on Hira by hitting him with a sandwich and berating him. Kyo tells Shirota to knock it off because it's not his fault that Momo doesn't like him. Shirota instructs Hira to go get him a different sandwich, and Hira is hesitating because Kyo is telling him not to do that. As we all know, Hira only really listens to Kyo. That's the whole reason that he does what he does so enthusiastically, is only for Kyoi's sake. After that, we get a really iconic scene, shall we say. As Kyoi is walking up the steps in the hallway, he is drenched in red juice, which we actually know now is tomato juice. Shirota's gang dumps like 20 ounces of liquid on Kyoi's head. Like, it was a full ass, big, huge cup of tomato juice poured on his head, and they threw the cup. They threw the plastic cup too that makes a little doop sound when it hits his head, and it's kind of funny. Uncalled for, but very, very uncalled for. Extremely unnecessary. Y'all didn't need to throw the cup. And like, it wasn't even like immediate. Like, they dumped all the liquid on, and then like 2 seconds after all the liquid stopped, then the cup came down, which I think is what makes that funnier. Kyoi reaches the top of the stairs and he gets into an altercation with Shirota, who calls him out his name and he threatens him. Kyoi, not being one for backing down, is also in his face. Hira sees this, obviously, and is not very happy about witnessing his king being harassed by, again, a lowly loser in his mind, someone who could never reach Kyoi's level, even if he wanted to, even if he tried. And another kind of imaginary scene, Hira slowly climbing the stairs. As they're fighting up at the top, Hira's kind of slowly walking up the stairs, and we see him pull out yet another imaginary weapon, semi-automatic weapon. And as he gets to the top of the stairs, the scene cuts black, and we just hear Hira screaming. Right? We hear him screaming. So we cut to the aftermath, and Hira is being spoken to by a teacher in the hallway saying how Hira has never been violent before. And the teacher tells him that he knows that he did it to help Kyoi. Hira is thinking about how it's the opposite, and that Kyoi helped him to deal with Shirota, and he feels like Captain Duck floating in a golden river. Bitch, he loves it over here. He loves it over here. Like, in the scene, the teacher is like, obviously, we're to assume that he got involved into the fight because he was protecting Kyoi. But he's like, nah, like, Kyoi gave me the strength to beat Shirota's ass for me and for him. Hilarious. Love that for us. Hiro wanders the hallway instead of going back to class, where he noticed that Kyoi was absent from. He finds Kyoi in an empty classroom with his head on the desk, and slowly walks over and takes a seat right in front of him. Hira can't help himself and reaches out slowly to touch Kyoi's hair, but he sits up and calls him a stalker before he reaches, so Hira quickly retracts his hand and he laughs nervously. Kyoi then makes a comment about his hair being dry, which Hira disagrees, so he tells Hira to touch it and see for himself. Kyoi, look at him, creating bridges. Hira touches his hair lightly and calls him beautiful. Kyoi then asks about Hira's camera, to which Hira responds that he left it at home, which he for sure regrets, but he will remember to bring it in the future. Kyoi jokingly tells him not to do anything weird with his picture, and clueless Hira asks what kind of weird things. And Kyoi responds, to that, Hira, who, if y'all remember, he's already done that. He quickly turns away from Kyoi in embarrassment because, oops. Kyoi, in complete shock and a sprinkle of disgust, asks Hira if he has actually done that before, to which Hira tells him that he has, but it was only once and he feels really bad about using Kyoi's image for that purpose. Kyoi asks if Hira likes boys, to no response. He then leans over his desk towards Hira and asks him if he likes boys again, which we get another crazy scene. Really gives you a little bit more insight into Hira's mind. Mind you, Kyoi had asked, do you like boys? And when he did not get an affirmative or a denial from Hira, he seemed frustrated. He seemed a little upset at that answer. I know what you are. Hira says that he doesn't know, which causes Kyoi to deflate back into his seat in clear disappointment not liking that answer. But then Hira, our embarrassingly honest king, he gets more specific and he says that he doesn't like other guys, but that he also doesn't like other girls, and that to him, Kyoi is special, and that Kyoi is the only person that Hira feels this way about, and Kyoi is the only one that Hira finds beautiful. He ate that up, didn't he? That answer seems to pleasantly surprise Kyoi, who calls Hira gross with a big smile on his face, very coy. It's obvious that this term gross is now morphing. It's slowly moving into an affectionate term and not a derogatory term. Very cute, right? They're getting their own things. I love it. He then asks if Hira would like to kiss him, and he holds out his hand. Bold moves, Kyoi. Bold moves for Kyoi. We are moving in a crazy direction. We're moving at lightning speed. Gassed. Maybe this can work. It will work. Hira is immediately on board and he leans towards Kyoi's outstretched hand, only for Kyoi to pull it back, telling Hira that he was joking. You know, he was just being a silly Billy. And Hira's like, oh my god, you're so right, King, my mistake. My apologies. Kyoi sticks his hand again back out to Hira and he flicks his hand at Hira. Hira, completely undeterred at the thought of this being a joke again, gets all the way out of his seat. He bows to his king in like a very symbolic scene and he kisses Kyoi's hand. Kyoi does not move, but he turns his head away from Hira while Hira does it, and they're both kind of bathed in this outside, like, warm light. It's a very earth-shattering, shaking, quaking scene, and it was a shaking, quaking scene for them both, to be on the receiving end and to be on the giving end. Crazy to watch this. Please, like, I need that scene tattooed all over my face and body. Like, Hira's just naturally a romantic. He's naturally a romantic, okay? We then see Hira and Kyoi are hanging out together alone, going to Hira's house together, doing their homework together. Hira said that they rarely talked but just enjoyed their time together. Like, this feels like they're literally dating. They're literally dating. And he's like, oh, we're just enjoying our time together. Y'all are literally dating. They meet up to go to school together and they go home together. Hold on. Hira's monologue during this montage tells us that there are no words to describe the relationship that he and Kyoi share. I got a word. Anyway, at this point in the story, you have a confession of love from Hira to Kyoi. That was rejected by Kyoi. Kyoi allowing and expecting Hira to follow him to, at least some extent. Kyoi getting another confession from Hira. Hira kissing his hand, him allowing Hira to kiss his hand, them both hanging out together now. So, like, it very much seems complicated. Like, it very much seems complicated, especially, again, because Kyoi's not going to say nothing. He's not going to say anything. And Hira's too scared to say anything, because, again, he had been shut down. Two fools. Hira says that Kyoi affects him, but there is no way it's also the other way around. He is firmly standing in his unrequited love box. Hira thinks that they don't meet the criteria of friendship, and he compares their relationship to some unwavering faith in a god, as if he were a devout priest or a nun dedicating his life to Kyoi. How crazy is that, y'all? He's the king of romance. He's the king of, like, I don't know, unintended romance. Like, he's like, oh, I'm such a loner, nothing is good about me, and then proceeds to write and say the most, like, heartfelt, heart-melting, fluttering, crying, like, imaginable, like, the most poetic, like, okay. I raised him well. Hira and Kyoi are having a park photo shoot, kind of, and Kyoi notices Hira's elated mood, and he asks what he's thinking about, to which Hira responds that he wants to be a nun, and Kyoi calls him creepy. And they're both smiling. Can y'all believe this? Literally right in front of our salads. Right in front of all of our salads, this is happening in 4K HD. We then hear Hira's inner monologue again, saying how there was no winter shared between the two of them, meaning like they didn't see each other over all of winter break, which I promise you is clear miscommunication on both their parts. Because how are you going to spend every day together and then all of a sudden during the winter, y'all not seeing each other? We see a group of girls enter the classroom, talking excitedly, holding a magazine. They're talking about how Kyoi was scouted by a talent agent and appears in an ad in the magazine. Everyone in the classroom hears this and joins in the excited talk, and they mob Kyoi's desk when he enters the classroom, assuming that they are, back on his side after the friction in the classroom, the hierarchy from the competition. Kyoi's just sitting at his desk, winning the pretending to be the most chill and nonchalant guy ever award, because that's him pretty much this whole series at this point. Very much teenage boy behavior. We love that. Nothing's gonna fucking bother him. You think you're gonna knock me off the top? Bitch, try again. I come back even more nonchalant. We continue with Hira's narration, tell us that time has just passed uneventful, and then graduation day came. So, like, in his mind, everything's like a blur, nothing mattered, because he, wasn't able to spend that time with Kyoi, and then graduation time came. So, like, there was, like, months, I'm assuming, then they didn't hang out or see each other or anything. The way that he says that gives us, like, a feeling that it wasn't a good time for him, definitely, and, like, he dreads that coming. He dreads the graduation day coming. So it's graduation day, and we get a shot of Kyoi back at peak popularity, all, of course, being followed by everyone, including the teacher, groupie, begging for an autograph. And then what blows me Kiyoi apologizes. Kiyoi is the one that apologizes to Shiroda and Miki. For what? You did nothing wrong, King. Like, they're bullying you. They were harassing you. That's crazy. He did nothing wrong, and he's the one who's apologizing to them. And they're like, oh, yeah, well, Kiyoi. Water under the bridge for our king, I guess. Karate gives Kiyoi what I'm sure is a confession via a written note, which is met with teasing and excitement. He never opens the note, though, so. The class asks if Kiyoi is going to the farewell party, and Kiyoi says no because he has plans already. Kiyoi has plans on graduation day. What do we think Kyoi's graduation day plans are? What do we think? What are we thinking? Kiyoi leaves the classroom, and guess what? Hira's following right behind him. Brand new behavior, I know. Never been done before. Shocking. He follows Kiyoi outside behind a building and rationalizes the action by explaining that they're graduating and this is the last time that he's going to see him, and he really wants to memorize his face card. Why Hira thinks this is the last time he's ever going to see him, I don't know, you know? Like, y'all was just literally dating, and for some reason, Hira's like, never going to see that guy again. Really the last time. Like, who thinks some shit like that? Unless that's you not wanting to see him, but we all know that's not true. Kiyoi comes to a stop when there's no one else around and turns around to face Hira, and he says, so you did come, stalker. Meaning that he came to this spot under the assumption that Hira was following him. Brought him to this spot specifically, right? Keep that in mind. Kiyoi knew, so you did come. Kiyoi knew Hira was going to be following him, especially again because it's graduation. So he leads him purposely to a secluded spot for just the two of them. Why do we think he did that? Guess we'll never know. Hira apologizes coyly, and Kiyoi tells him he doesn't mind. His words exactly. I don't mind. Whole time, he don't mind. I don't mind. If you don't mind. Kiyoi is okay with Hira's stalking. So after that exchange, they're both just standing there not saying anything for a minute. Then they both try to say something at the same time, which really fucks up everybody's confidence, and then they both go quiet again. Minor setbacks, but we can win this, y'all. We can reel this in. You know, we gotta work hard. Both of y'all lock in. Lock in right now. Hira insists that Kiyoi say what he was going to say first, and Kiyoi seems a little confused, and he asks him if there's anything that he wants to say to him. Hira doesn't say anything, and Kiyoi gets cold feet and tries to leave and not have this conversation take place here, but Hira stops him from leaving. Hira looks very confused, trying to think of what he needs to tell Kiyoi. He's trying to think about what Kiyoi could possibly want him to say to him. What do we think, y'all? What are we thinking? What do we think those magic words are that Kyoi's trying to hear? I kind of feel really bad for Kiyoi. Like, again, he kind of set himself up for this in a way, but also because of the way Hira is, it went down this way, or it's going down this way, and like, it's obvious that like he's waiting on a confession. Like, Kiyoi clearly brought you to this secluded area so that you can confess to him again. But like, they were, you know, spending time and getting closer together, and Kiyoi already knows how he feels about him because he's said it twice and multiple times, you know. But like, it's exactly that gives him pause, because again, if you remember, he did confess and he was met with what? A pretty harsh rejection. And that would stop anybody, you know, slow anybody down, much less like fully stop Hira, because he really doesn't want to upset him, you know. And if he was like, oh, you're angry when I say this, I'm never going to say it again, and he won't. And now Kiyoi is looking for something that Hira cannot give him right now, and Hira's like trying so hard to think about what Kiyoi wants, and it's so sad to see. But again, y'all kicked yourselves in the pants. Y'all did this to yourselves. Hira was trying to be brave, and Kiyoi essentially told him to fuck off. And it's not funny. It's a little funny. It's not funny. In his mind, like in Hira's mind, he had zero confidence in this, which is why, again, he's so confused as to what Kiyoi is looking for, you know, what he wants, because he's like, it can't be this, it can't be, you know, anything else that he would reasonably suspect from other people, because it's Kiyoi. It's a god and a king. What could he possibly want me to say? He's just a boy. He's just a boy. They're both just a boy. Okay. So Kiyoi becomes impatient, waiting on a response from Hira, or for him to say literally anything at all. So we know what he does. He makes a split-second decision, and he closes the distance between them, and he gives Hira a quick kiss on the lips. A literal, actual, real kiss. Now, who does that? Who would give you a kiss after asking, isn't there something you want to say to me? And then they kiss you. Wouldn't you, in your head, you'd be like, oh, like this person, maybe they like me. They want to see me later. Anything. Set up a later date. Talk, you know, whatever, something. Not to Hira. Not to Hira. Especially because immediately after, Kiyoi freaks out and pushes Hira to the ground. And then he says, "See you later," and then like runs away. Hira's just left, on the ground, shocked, on the ground. His phone fell out of his pocket and lands in a puddle. He's in no hurry. He's in no hurry to pick this up. Obviously, he's in no hurry to pick the phone up or himself up, because nothing matters anymore, because he won't ever see Kyoe again, and he thinks that that kiss was a pity kiss, a pity goodbye kiss. Could you imagine being so insanely deluded that you think that somebody kisses you on the lips as like an "I hate you, never see me again, goodbye"? Like Hira feels like that message is very clearly, "Don't continue to follow me." Very much not. It was very much the opposite. But again, can you blame him? We've seen, the things that have happened. We know what's happening here, and it makes it hard. Again, it makes things complicated because you don't actually know. And again, Hira's confidence is in the toilet. Like it's non-existent. It's not there. So whatever it takes to build him up to do something like that, that's it. If there's any hint of negative anything, he's roping it back. He's roping it back. Like, that's never going to happen again. My mistake. So yeah, we know Hira already has very strange views on things, and it's just going to get stranger as time goes by. But that also like makes this interesting, because it's not necessarily miscommunication, but it is miscommunication. It's like a miscommunication trope, but like not really. It's so much worse than that. So anyway, we get a fade to black, and we see Hira on the phone with someone standing on what we learn is a college campus. We see that Hira is attending college and has in fact made a friend, Kazuki Koyama. I love him. He's so sweet. He's like a puppy. Love him so bad. So that is where this episode ends, unfortunately. And that is also, the end of my video. So there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of advancements, but also reverts, and we are just gonna have to see, y'all are gonna have to see how this plays out, because there was interest, there's still interest, but now we're just like, we're not talking no more. And again, both of their faults, but it's hard to also be mad. It's hard to feel, you just feel like sad and crushed, and it's gonna be worse. It's gonna get worse. But thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you guys are enjoying this series so far, because I'm enjoying talking about it, because I always enjoy talking about this show. There's just like so much to say about it. There's so much to say about their actions. But if you want to be a part of my underdog story and follow me, please do subscribe to my channel, like my page, like any of my other things, any of my other socials, or any of my other networking, whatever things. Feel free. Please leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think. Stay safe. Happy Pride. Have joy and love. Eat well. Make good choices. I love you guys. Bye.